Yo guys, so I'm just recording this after watching it. It's just a quick intro. But I think I disagree with a good portion of the react or the take at the beginning, and then I really start agreeing about halfway through. So just bear with me with that video. This turns into a train wreck by the second half of the video. I turned into a mess. Okay, so just I apologize in advance. Okay, but I'm gonna leave it in. I'm gonna still post it. Let me know what you think. I am so looking forward to reading the comments after this. Okay, I'll see you guys on the other end. Hey guys, and welcome back to another React video. So just before we get started, the last React I did yesterday was the Avenger 1 video, which was very controversial and a spicy topic. The comments section yesterday was on fire, and I loved it. Yeah, like I am all about the comment section, boys. So let me know. Yeah, I've still got to get back to a lot of you guys in the last video. It's happening. I just keep chipping away at it, but expect a reply. And it's the same for this video. All about the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I love these takes. I love these discussions. I think you guys have really good debates and arguments. And it's just, I love to see it. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so dope. So, hit me up in the comments. I will reply. Very cool, dudes. Really looking forward to waking up tomorrow, smashing some coffee in comment section. Yeah, very cool. See you guys in there after this video. Absolutely. Um, and just yeah, appreciative. Very appreciative. Anyways, so today's video we have weak multi-crew ships and overpowered fighters. Is master modes failing? Typical doom and gloom title from our boy BuzzCutPsycho. Uh, one thing I worry about, when it comes to a lot of people's theory to the game design, is that for their loop to benefit, they believe that another loop needs to be brought to heal. The light fighter and the fighter gameplay is it's suffering for sure. The ceilings come down so low, and people want it to come up a bit. My argument would be let's bring up these other loops to accommodate, right? Like instead of subtracting gameplay or suffocating gameplay from other ships so that your beneficial loop will be worthwhile, let's instead just buff your loop. So my answer is I think the light fighters need to get deeper in skill and capability. And I think that multi-crew needs to be brought up to that standard. I think the answer to this is buffs for multi-crew. I am extremely understanding that the future of this game is multi-crew. Those players need to be included heavily, extremely heavily in the design of master modes. And they need to finally, have the standard of that experience reached. Master modes needs to deliver for the multi-crew guys. I'm all about it. It's we have all these multi-crew ships in production or have been produced, and no crews to outfit them, and that needs to be justified. So I'm coming into this blind. I'm going to be very transparent here too. I have zero experience in the turrets for master modes. I'm not even going to pretend I do. So I've come here to watch this video to learn something, and I'm going to stay in my lane. All right, you guys know me. I'm about the sweaty dogfighting maverick playstyle. I'm not a huge fan, and I don't foresee my future being in turrets and multi-crew gameplay. But I'm appreciative of its importance, and I want these guys looked after. I just think I might have a unique take on what that might look like when it comes to hurting the other aspects of the game, I guess. So yeah, buffs instead of debuffs. Yeah, I'm a big fan of buffs over debuffs. But enough rambling. Let's see what the state of multi-crew gameplay is like in the latest iteration. Just quickly too before I finish this, I've fought a lot of hammerheads in Squadron Battle. Again, I'm in Squadron Battle master modes all the time. My general outside experience is that a Hammerhead is extremely useful and terrifying in the 1.3k range, so anywhere between 0 to 1.3k, and then their effectiveness just starts dropping off a cliff the more range you add to that. So if I'm at 2k range, I'm not that worried about a Hammerhead. If I'm at 3k range, I'm laughing. If I'm at 4k range, good luck. But what is an issue, I believe, and you guys know me from my videos so far, I'm not a big fan of the weapon ranges. I think a good solution is to just nerf the weapon ranges. Like if a Gladius, a Vanguard, or any other ship class wants to go and be able to start hitting up against a Hammerhead, you need to have skin in the game. Rather than this passive distance holding playstyle where you're just easily spraying and praying at a Hammerhead in the distance without a care in the world, I think that you need to fly up closer, commit, and get closer to those lethal gun ranges before you're going to start applying damage to a Hammerhead. I'm not a fan of this pick apart from distance gameplay. So yeah, again, Hammerheads are great. I think they're just great in close range, specifically. Anyways, enough rambling. Let's get onto it.
The 3.22x EPTU test server has been available for a while now.
A testament to Shadow Moses, my organization, testing masterminds all the time. The floor mat's one of my org mates and a good friend. So he's shooting at one of my guys here.
And it has undergone significant changes to master modes. While master modes have generally...
Another one of my guys, Cobra. Both these two players were in the final round of the last Atmo esports tournament. Really cool guys. Good to see them in this video too.
Enhance the game experience. The latest iteration of this system represents a step back, reintroducing many of the problems that master modes were initially designed to address. At the time of this recording, I believe master modes are in their worst state yet. Failing to achieve their intended goals of accessibility, closer combat, team-focused gameplay, ship variety, and more focused visceral combat. While previous versions managed to accomplish most of these objectives, the latest iteration falls short in many regards.
So let's just quickly talk about what is new in this iteration. So in the latest iterations that have come in the last couple of weeks, there's been 3 major changes that have impacted master modes. One is the gunnery. They've nerfed the gunnery and made it a little more difficult to aim, which is a good thing because you speak to any above average player and it was very easy to achieve 100% accuracy. That is not a good thing. If the assist is so high, the bullet nudging is so high, the cone in which the around the pip that we're shooting at is so wide, it's just far too easy to shoot at an opponent. So they nerfed that and added a skill component to the aiming and gunnery. I am a big fan of this because it was just excessive. It was ridiculous. Aiming was just way too easy. It really was. And it just suffocated out a lot of gameplay. It just became a DPS race. So again, to combat that, they reduced the ease of accuracy, which I think was a good change. But I'm sure there's been some, issues with that. But that's the biggest change. The second was the capacitor reworks. They were completely reworked. Very proactive playstyle now, more beneficial, buff-wise rather than just a constant maintenance game like it's been in the past. So kind of like a proactive approach to capacitors now. You're leaning to using them for the benefits rather than just resource management. And then number 3 was the turn rate changes. So they isolated a lot of the fighter gameplay into pitch to hopefully create some variation in people's turn rates. I don't think this has had a great effect on the gameplay. But I do understand it's a skill. It's a balance on the wire kind of feeling. And it's a very sophisticated discussion, the turn rate changes. But those are the 3 major components or changes that have happened. Turn rate, some of the slower, heavier fighters like the Hornet, the Vanguard got slower turn rates so that they can't just easily defend themselves and keep distance anymore. That was a good change. The light fighters' turn rate got isolated and kind of became more skillful, and then all the gunnery across all the ships kind of got nerfed and are now a more skillful aiming experience. And then the capacitors, which I doubt this video is about. But those are the main changes that the last iterations have gone through. So let's see where he goes with this.
Let's start by
and look at that. Like, just quickly, he killed it. Like, as soon as Cobra, my teammate, I need to talk to him after the video. But as soon as my teammate is within the kill range, like under 1k, he gets shredded. Like, so that's the problem, and kind of an issue with the Hammerhead is the closer you get, the absolutely lethal it becomes. But then at distance, it's a walk in the park. And I think is an issue with the weapon ranges. Again, I want to see the weapon ranges shorten, a lot more skin in the game, a lot more flying to, credit Avenger 1's discussions or debates. The less gunnery and weapon ranges, the more important the flying aspect is. And I think, when you can't just hold range with people, it's going to benefit all, especially multi-crew people that they can't get the Hammerhead to chase a light fighter. They're dependent on it coming to it. I think the weapon range reduction could bring fighters closer to the Hammerhead and make it more lethal. Yeah.
Examining the positive aspects of the newest version before delving into its shortcomings. The good. CIG has been experimenting with reducing the effectiveness of aim assist currently present in the game. It's important to note that aim assist and enhanced stick precision, or ESP, are distinct concepts. Aim assist in this game acts as a form of magnetism, nudging shots closer to the target when aimed in its vicinity. Overall, I support the reduction of aim assist, as strong auto-aim undermines the skill-based nature of gameplay, particularly in a game where evasion is a defining characteristic of certain ship classes.
Yep.
While I personally prefer minimal aim assist, I recognize its importance in smoothing gameplay, enhancing accessibility, and maintaining.
Like, look at how lethal he becomes when the targets get close. Like, when he's spraying at distance, he's doing nothing. He's achieving nothing. But the moment these fighters get close to the Hammerhead, then you're looking at maybe 10 bullets. Like this, they are getting evaporated when they get close. So I think, the issue when it comes to the light fighters and other fighters interacting with the Hammerhead, I think the ranges are toxic. I think just like holding range is just bad gameplay. It's terrible gameplay, I think. It's like the whole purpose of master modes was to bring everything closer together. Then let's not make these like cheesy hold distance playstyles thanks to 4K weapon ranges.
Maintaining parity between controller inputs. The reduction of aim assist has been a positive change, and I'm eager to see how CIG continues to refine it.
Good take.
Additionally, the inclusion of larger ships such as the Constellation and Hammerhead, as well as the adjustment of size 5 repeaters to provide proper velocity, have been welcome additions.
Cool.
Various tweaks aimed at
look, like I don't think he's doing any damage at this range.
Making ships like the Vanguard more viable further contribute to the positive aspects of the latest version. The bad. Unfortunately,
the thing is too is like, look at the shields on the bottom left. Like their ship is barely getting tickled, and that's kind of like a weird issue with master modes. Is like people spawn Hammerheads. It takes too much effort to bring them down, so people just don't bother to commit, and then they kind of just avoid them and they just try to like fight around them, and they leave the Hammerhead's destruction down to other players that are willing to fly, constellations to try and take it out. So it's kind of like, the whale's swimming around playing its own game while the other fish are duking it out with each other and just trying to avoid it. So, which I'm fine with. I almost like the idea of like, I don't want to bring light fighters to kill a hammerhead. I want that to be more of a specialization. So I don't mind that. But I just hope that BuzzCut's goal isn't to be projecting, uh, huge amounts of damage at huge ranges, because that would be an issue in itself.
Some adjustments have been made that reintroduced many of the negative gameplay aspects that Master Modes aimed to fix.
But you don't want to be shooting people at 3K. Like, I hope he isn't using this footage right here, this specific time, as an example of the failings. Like, we want these fights to be close up and visceral. So I'm okay with his ship not being this scary at this range.
Most notably, the extreme
because these are just tiny pixels.
Light fighters, gaming the pip, and drawn out combat.
Yeah, light fighters are gaming the pip in a sense that like there's like wiggling and stuff like that right now. That is an issue. You guys saw my video last week. Like the wiggling's back. But I'm not a big fan of let's just nerf light fighter evasion into the ground. If anything, I think evasion needs to be buffed up. But it needs to be a good shape, not gimmicky, not wiggling, not seesawing, like actual, meaningful, classy evasion, not the cheap stuff you get from, like wiggling.
Gone are the close-up and intimate team-based encounters, replaced by a series of disjointed 1v1 skirmishes scattered throughout space.
Yeah, that's not like a big issue though. I think this meta's just developed because people now have a greater understanding of exactly how lethal a hammerhead is. I don't think that any tuning changes are the reason this is occurring, Buzz. I think it's just a natural development of people learning master modes. People are avoiding the hammerhead because it's terrifying up close. And the way to avoid it is to keep distance. And the sad reality is Squadron Battle experimental mode is flawed. It's flawed in the sense that, and it needs to be this way, but a lot of the people aren't interested in the heavy ship gameplay. When they go into Squadron Battle, they're interested in the wrestle between fighters and dog fighting. So they just kind of try to avoid it. But we do need this testing to be done, so it needs to coexist for now.
This is particularly evident in matches.
But there was no tuning change.
The 15-minute mark.
There was no tuning change that caused this. This was just the natural evolution of people gaining an understanding. So yeah, like it's important to know that. Like, I just hope his expectation isn't that the hammerhead's going to be hunting people down. It's like a area denial ship, is it not? Like, I don't think the game plan was for hammerheads to be hunting down light and medium fighters. It was to project dominance in a area that it decided to fly around. I think that was more the goal. So it's important to take note that Squadron Battle is a big, large open space. The hammerhead's not supposed to be traversing these spaces so quickly, but it is supposed to be a projection of defense, a fortification that you can shoot from. But light fighters and medium fighters trying to keep distance, I would argue, is good gameplay. But I just wouldn't like them to be offensive at those distances where the fortress, which is their hammerhead, it can't really project itself. I've been watching a TV show called Masters of the Air on Apple. I know it's a side discussion, but that's how the fortresses work, which were the big bombers back in World War II. They had all these turrets, and they, stacked them up, and they just projected defense as a group while they achieved their objective. I see similarities in their hammerhead. But I don't want hammerheads chasing, or, these fortress bombers chasing down Mustang fighters, right? So I hope that's not his expectation here, but I need to let him cook.
Rather than concluding when one team accumulates the required points for victory, players are finishing matches with fewer damage dealt, fewer kills, and lower scores overall. It's crucial to emphasize the significance of an 8v8 match taking a full 15 minutes to conclude, highlighting the inability of players to accumulate points through damage. This situation perfectly illustrates the negative and monotonous aspects of Star Citizen space combat. In the initial versions of Master Modes, combat was quick, gritty, and intense, with teamwork such as defensive maneuvers, peeling, and tanking damage for teammates being commonplace.
Yeah, but like this exists. The problem is you've elected to fly a castle fortress that you're not getting into the fight. Like what he mentions, I believe, still exists. You're just not being included in it because you're so terrifying. You've played a defensive playstyle, and so you're being kited. Like there's a fight is evolving around him. Like looking at the scoreboard right now, he's on a team of 500 points because the Hammerhead isn't finding success when a fight is happening around it. So it can't really project itself offensively. I think this is good design. And I think that maybe the points of the fights were happening because people didn't have an understanding of it. But it's important to know that I think what he's describing is happening out of his view, which is, again, I think part of picking the Hammerhead role. I think the Hammerhead is to orbit stations and project defense and to reinforce like a bunker, a UGF, a event. It is a defensive fortification. It's not like to be used offensively to pursue. I wouldn't think.
However, that dynamic has shifted. Another concerning indication is that the majority of players have reverted to using the Gladius and exploiting its new higher strafe speeds to the fullest extent, essentially replicating the gameplay that made disliked from the onset. The buffed strafe speeds on light fighters, combined with the reduced weapon velocity and decreased aim assist, have created the same unexciting scenario reminiscent of the legacy flight model system in the live game. Simply put, it's not enjoyable.
Yeah, like I don't think that's the issue, brother. I think it's the role you're picking. Like, I think if you want to participate in a dogfight, you got to get inside a dog. You got to get inside a ship. That's there to dogfight. If you want a dogfight, get in a dogfighter, which is a snub. It is a Vanguard, arguably. It is a Hornet. It's a Gladius. It's like all the wealth of fighters that are there for the fight. But I think when you're in a Hammerhead, you're there to project defense. I think there'd be more of an argument if he was in a Vanguard, because at least then it's a mixture between like a fortification and a fighter. But in a Hammerhead, you're a base. You're a moving around base. Like you have beds in that ship. You have a crew quarters. Like this is a station with engines. So, I don't think you can have those expectations that, you're going to get very bloody and you're going to be right in the thick of it. If there's, dogfighting going on around you. It's like, being in a, no, I should even use that example, but let's see where he keeps going. I need to let him cook.
Crew is still bad. The big ships still suck. Despite the videos from other content creators praising the greatness of larger ships like the Connie and Hammerhead, along with their turrets, such claims are absolutely disingenuous and a disservice to the players who haven't tested these themselves. As I mentioned in the bad section of this video, these larger ships are simply incapable of effectively fending off light fighters with their turrets, and they are truly only a threat to ships of similar size. The hype may lead you to believe that
Yeah, I kind of like that though. I like the idea of, the fighters on fighters gameplay. You bring ships for purposes. And I think that a Constellation has a wealth of firepower. I don't think you're supposed to be turning a Constellation to pursue Gladiuses and Hornets though, BuzzCut. Because it's a single seater with 4 huge, gigantic guns. You know, do I think the turrets should be able to relatively defend themselves? Like a little bit, but you know, a lot of the Constellation's damage projection is from the pilot. So it's clear that the Constellation was made to punch ships of this similar class. It's not there to pursue fighters. And the Hammerhead is the opposite of that. It is to, and it is described as a anti-fighter, heavier, you know, ship. I forgot what the class is. Is it a Corvette? You guys might let me know in the comment section. But it's there to, you know, project air dominance. It's a moving, you know, anti-air base. But it's a base. You know, it's not. It's. I don't think you're supposed to be involved in these. I think there's separation between these. I don't think that, you know, you're supposed to have an Idris getting involved in fights with light fighters and pursuing them down. You know, like, and but I think if the light fighters come to play with the Hammerhead, or they come to play with a Idris, it's a scary commitment for them, and they're going to get cut up. But yeah, I worry that he's expecting too much offensive pursuit with these ships that I think, you know, aren't really purposed for that. I like the idea of heavies going after the heavies, like a fleet composition involving accommodating for what do they have in the light capacity, what do they have in the mid capacity, what do they have in the heavy capacity. Okay, they've got hammerheads because they're trying to counter our light fighters. We need to counter that with some heavy hitters ourselves that are specifically designed to go after their heavies. You know, I like that. That's scissors, paper, rock playstyle for me, but I don't think that heavies just belong in every area. I don't think heavies should be going up against lights. You know, except for the hammerhead, okay? It's an exception, but I wouldn't want Connies hunting down gladiuses. That would be terrible gameplay, in my opinion. So, yeah, I disagree with a lot of this.
Big ships are finally ready to play, but the reality is far from it. They're bad. Big ships right now are once again easy prey for light fighters and are incapable of defending themselves. There's a supreme irony in the fact that a ship like the Hammerhead, designed to destroy light fighters, now require an escort just to fend off those very same ships. I've been on the EPTU and have been collecting this footage to demonstrate it to you. First, let's begin with the Hammerhead.
I mean, he just did 570 damage to a passing gladius in the kill box. That's a gigantic amount of damage. But the issue is the range, right? Like, you need to keep bringing these gladiuses closer to the Hammerhead for him to get a valid experience of the Hammerhead, the anti-fighter experience, right? So I think this gets solved with the weapon ranges. Seems to be the answer to everything, doesn't it?
I believe this clip highlights the worthless turret reversal speed of the Hammerhead. I'm struggling to keep up with the Gladius, and I also can't...
Yeah, but you're also turning the nose of, like, what, a size 4s? Like 4 size 4s? You are projecting a ton of power here. You know, the Hammerhead's stationary too. The light fighter, I think, is supposed to be like this, but you know what? You got 4 other turrets, brother. Like, this is, I don't think one turret is supposed to equal one gladius like this. You know, I think that the turrets need to work in cohesion together.
Can't aim my weapon up high enough to even hit him. This is awful. But yeah, I can't keep up with the guy.
Yeah, but like, I just watched you zap some gladius in like 2 seconds. I've seen him, you know, disintegrate gladiuses very quickly. You just don't get that for free. I think his expectations are a little too high.
So in this demonstration, I'm just shooting at a stationary target. We're having basically a duel. He's trying to disable...
He's at the outside. I think, yeah, again, like, I agree. He should probably be hitting this. But I don't think that Swift Cut, his target, should be really effective at all at that range. I think it needs... I mean, maybe... You know, like, maybe, but this is right of the ceiling of which I'd want combat to even exist. Like, he can barely see the target he's shooting at, I don't think.
Pull my turret through the Hammerhead shields, and I'm just trying to blow him up.
What's he shooting at? A gladius. Okay.
Stationary. I cannot hit him.
Yeah, but like, you can't hit him because he's the size of a pixel. like that's the issue, right? So bring these ships closer, which is the entire point of master modes. Make Swiftcut need to get closer to you, so he's got skin in the game. Because at 1.7k, he barely has skin in the game, and that's the. I think it's an issue with the weapon ranges. Again, I think a Gladius needs to get closer to a target to be able to engage to a distance where the Hammerhead can defend itself. I agree. There's an imbalance there, but I think weapon range is the culprit.
And he's just plinking away at my turret. I'm on a recharge now.
Yeah, I agree with this. Now,
yep. Okay, boom, I'm gone. Disabled.
Yeah. I don't like this either, Buzz. I'm with you here, brother. Absolutely. I don't like that you can just disable a turret at distance so easily without any skin in the game. I'm converted when it comes to this point. I don't like that you can disable a turret in a Hammerhead. Like, since when has that ever been a thing? Why are we doing that? Especially when the Hammerhead can't defend itself, like, at all like that. So I disagree. Like, I think up close, a Hammerhead is terrifying. It is in a good place. At range, it's in a horrible place. And this disabling of turret mechanic, I don't like it. I agree. I agree with you here. In this very specific scenario, I absolutely am on his side with this.
I lose. This demonstration's similar. This time it's against a Vanguard. It's a little bit closer, and it's a bigger target.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
I'm actually making hits because the Vanguard is larger.
Yep.
Keep in mind, though, we're both...
And you're also closer to that range. Like I mentioned to you guys before I went in this video, the closer the range, the more this is validated. Like, the more lethal it becomes.
Both stationary. We're trying to do the same thing. We're having a duel here to see who wins. I understand this is not like the most realistic, quote-unquote, scenario, but even if this turret cannot defeat a ship that's pretty large at range,
Jerk chaff, that's cheating.
Hits, there's something wrong here. So now I'm on cooldown, and you can also see that I'm struggling to see what my actual capacitor is because the UI just doesn't work for turrets. But now I just broke...
Yeah, but I think like with the cohesion of other players using turrets as well, because, you know, you're looking at the front view of the Vanguard, which is, you know, a smaller silhouette. The other turrets will have a better view of this Vanguard given the angle and do more damage. I think with multiple people in the turrets, this Vanguard's dead pretty quickly. But, you know, not a fan of the ranges still.
Shields, and I'm actually hitting him now. So we're still dueling. I'm getting some shots in on the hull. Keep in mind, it's a Vanguard. It's a bigger target.
Yep.
And boom, I lose anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I don't like the turret. Yeah, the turrets disabling is dorky. Absolutely here. Don't even let the turrets get disabled until the whole thing sinks, in my opinion. I don't know why we're isolating that you can take out a turret. And if the gameplay has to stay this way because they want it for Squadron or something along those lines, then buff the hell out of this turret. Okay, like, these turrets should be able to take a severe beating before they get to this stage. I'm with BuzzCut here for sure. I'm with it when it comes to disabling of the turrets. I don't like it, so I'm with you there. But I'm also not with him on the other sides of that debate.
Very cool.
Yeah, this
now this was
sucks.
My personal favorite. So all I'm doing here is trying to hit the target while he's just slightly doing a corkscrew maneuver, and he's closing in on me, and he's doing it very slowly. I'm getting very few hits. This is the
but this is bad tracking. You're not on the pip at all.
Of a Hammerhead. I can't even break his shields. So if I couldn't hit him stationary, I definitely can't hit him moving.
Yeah, again, like the 1.4k range. Yeah. So like, again, like I said this before even going into the video. You know, at this range is like right on the edge of usefulness. I think if if Swiftcut comes, you know, closer to 1,000, maybe 1,100, he's gonna start getting cut up. I would assume. But again, I don't like the idea that Swiftcut can just keep this distance and then disable the turret. I don't like the disabling of the turrets, guys. It's bad. I feel sorry for the Multicrew guys that have to go through the turrets getting disabled. Even in Discord, I remember us like kind of jokingly like, that's dumb. So
this is embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
It's not just a Hammerhead. The Connie has it a little better, but its turret still suffers.
Okay, here we go.
I want you to check out this gameplay and let me know what you think. So this was pretty interesting. You can see here that I'm engaging, looks like, I don't know, the Connie or something. Anyway, we're fighting. Boom, right there. I get hit by these missiles. and everything turns off. The whole ship powers down. Like the power plant got destroyed or something. That was like 1 or 2 missiles, and everything. The Connie or something. Anyway, we're
Okay, so he's blue on the top left. His shields are full.
fighting. Boom.
Okay, yeah, this is bad. So what's happened is the physical damage from the splash of the missiles hitting a ship has just accidentally hit your components. So the missiles detonated on the side of his ship. The splash AoE damage hit the components, specifically the power plant, and knocked him out. So his ship's in good condition, but the component, his power plant, is not. Yeah, this is an issue. It happens in some other ships more frequently than others, like the Ares Ion and the Inferno suffer from this a lot because the components are just on the back of it and they're not deep in the interior. I'm assuming this is the same for the Connie, but yeah, like the splash damage hitting the components is definitely an issue. So I can relate to this. I think he's got a decent enough point. The answer to this is armor, the armor system that will apparently come one day, or just buffing the health of the components so that this doesn't happen. We don't want random missiles hitting a perfectly pristine ship and the splash damage bypassing the shields and the hull and, you know, affecting components inside of it. So, yeah, I agree. This sucks. It sucks to see this, for sure.
Right there, I get hit by these missiles, and everything turns off. The whole ship powers
not
down.
good.
Like the power plant got destroyed or something. That was like 1 or 2 missiles. This happens a lot in the Connie.
Oh, it sucks. Yeah, so the component of the Constellation is inside of the AoE splash damage of the missiles hitting the hull. You know, bad ship design, or you could bend the component health to accommodate. But yeah, that sucks. That sucks, man. That does. That's not good.
This sick little nerd is coming at me, and we get up in this weird little turn fight, right? And I'm not expecting my main guns to really hit him.
Yeah, good.
But if you look at what I'm doing everything in my power to maintain that, you know, to make sure that my top gunner has the best possible angle on him. I'm not even trying to get guns on. I'm trying to get his guns on. And even when I give him good shots like this, like nothing happens. This guy is in no fear of that turret whatsoever.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be a great turret. Like, it's not so, like the turret in the Constellation is supposed to be underwhelming. It's not supposed to be like a Hammerhead turret, for example, with a wealth of turrets with a huge amount of firepower. Like the Vanguard, and my understanding of the Constellation turrets is that they're supposed to, like, you know, barely be enough to break bread. Because you're comparing these to like a Hurricane turret, which is extremely effective, or like a Scorpius turret, extremely effective. Like, you're bringing the Constellation to punch above your weight, and the turret is just something to buy you time. I just think that's the balancing of the Constellation. I don't think you're supposed to be fighting off fighters in the Constellation Alpha. I think you are supposed to be dependent on an escort with that. But with that being said, I wouldn't throw a Hammerhead into that same argument, or I wouldn't put a Hurricane or a Scorpius in that same argument. I'd expect those turrets to be effective, extremely effective. But I'm not expecting a Gladius to barely be able to 1v1 or to have a hard time with a Vanguard turret, for example. Like, some turrets are actually supposed to be weaker. So, you know, I think that you should be reliant on teammates in this specific scenario. I do.
No matter what I do.
But it's important to know too that it's going to take that Gladius a very long time to kill that Andromeda. A very long time.
Goes on for quite a while. I skipped a lot of it.
Okay, good.
And this is how it ends.
Yeah.
Dum runs into me and dies.
I've done this a few
Here's
times.
another example of missiles disabling the ship. I take a few missiles.
Yeah, that sucks, brother. I'm with you there.
Engines go down.
I mean, yeah, but you have no shields. On the top left, you have no shields. So you're supposed to start getting banged up now. I think you had a debate before, but you know, you've taken a severe beating. You've lost shields on 3 different faces. You have a sliver of shield in the front. These missiles are going to start really banging you around here. And it would have taken a long time to, like, there would have been 3 or 4 minutes of fighting before these shields came down. You know, depending on how many opponents. But no, you're supposed to be you are in a bad position right now, brother. Like, these shields are in a bad state. Your engine is red on the top right, which means you're about to start losing control. These 4 missiles could be your end, or at least disable you. They're probably not going to kill you, but I expect you to lose engines from this. Let's see what happens.
Generator goes down and the ship is just basically disabled.
Yeah, I don't like the shield going down. I don't like the power going. Ooh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh.
And here's another example of missiles disabling the ship. I take a few missiles.
Oh, I'm wrong. Sorry. No, you're right, Buzz. I apologize. No. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, this is bad. His ship was actually in good condition, and then the missiles hit and then knocked out the power of the shields. Yeah. So this is splash damage from missiles hitting a hull, damaging a component inside the ship. Unintended, I think this is. And I agree with you. Yeah, this sucks. This sucks to see.
And
sad.
My engines go down. My shield.
I'm going to bring this up with Yogi 100%. I think he'd be disappointed this is happening too. And pretty easy fix. You just buff the health of the ship components. It'd be fine. You'd be soaking this damage. It wouldn't be that much of a concern. But yeah, this sucks. It does.
Generator goes down and the ship is just basically disabled.
Yeah.
This happens numerous times.
Yeah, unfortunate.
They're like little missiles, so I'm not even getting shot at by like massive missiles.
He set the self-destruct. Oh, fine. That sucks, man. That sucks.
This ship is slightly better off than a Hammerhead due to its massive forward-facing firepower. And in general, I am happy with its size 2 turrets and do not think they require a buff to a size 3. However, they could use a significant traversal speed, range, and accuracy buff. Comically,
okay, yeah,
as you've seen in the footage, the ship is also particularly.
He would know more about this than me.
Single-sized 1 missile. Every time it happened, I just had to shake my head and laugh. And it happened a lot. Anyone telling you Multicrew is fine?
Yeah, no, like he's got a point here. I'm with you on this, Buzz.
It's either lying or stupid, maybe both. 1 + 1 = 3. This equation isn't the result of me being a product of the American education system, but rather a design.
I'm proud of Format's flying right now. Thank you, Format. You're doing well. I need to give him a pat on the back here because he's trying to outturn the turret, which is smart. Looks like he doesn't have any other opponents to attack in the lobby, I would assume, so he's forced to fight the Hammerhead. So he's just trying to make the most of it. Fair enough. But I don't think you're supposed to win this trade right here, like a turret versus a fighter. I think in this scenario, he should be dependent on cohesion with his other turrets, teamwork, to take out Format in this scenario. But he is on the top of the Hammerhead, which is protected by 1 turret, right? So maybe he isn't, and maybe it's up to the pilot here.
That proposes a vehicle which performs
maybe
subpar on its own is dramatically increased in effectiveness when crewed. The rough idea, not the rule, is that if the vehicle requires 2 players...
Yeah, see, this sucks. Like, I don't like to see the turrets get disabled like this. This sucks. Yeah, that's sad, man.
Operate, it is roughly equivalent to 3 individual vehicles. This concept scales up the larger the vehicle.
I feel sorry for these guys, like they really need to be able to finally play. Like, yeah, this sucks. This definitely sucks. Hold on, my cat is being annoying.
The more people it requires to fully operate, eventually acting like a force multiplier that a team can leverage and use to their advantage. A great example that most of you may understand is the Warthog from Halo. Alone, it is worthless and cannot do anything. However, with a gunner, you are able to work together as a unit and inflict a significant amount of damage on the enemy.
Yep.
There was never a shortage of people wanting to gun for Warthogs in Halo, but once people get a taste of gunning a turret in Star Citizen, they probably...
Yeah, but I think you're going to find that the turret experience inside of like a Hurricane or a Scorpius, which kind of more relates to what you're describing right now as a Warthog, I think people are going to be far more committed and willing. I think the problem is people aren't going to be as willing, to turret a fortified base like a Hammerhead to the same degree, a pursuit vehicle like a Hurricane or a Scorpius. That's all.
Rather do anything else.
Like
That
like you expect less action. I think.
becomes especially problematic when the idea is to eventually not just have gunners in our vehicles, but also engineers to control and work on systems. If 1 + 1 = 3 isn't comprehended and designed for now, it'll never work when crew size requirements grow in the future.
I just think they would be more willing, BuzzCut, if the weapon ranges came down. I hate to be, just beating on this drum all the time, but I think the issue is that it's hard to want to get into a Hammerhead when people just decide to play range. It's also extremely hard to get a Hammerhead when you have to deal with your turret getting disabled so quickly. But I think you bring those weapon ranges down, there's going to be a lot of excitement in the turrets. And to clarify, I don't think the weapon range on the turrets needs to go down. I'm talking about the fighters that are fighting against these turrets. Bring the combat closer. It gets far more interesting, far more fun.
That
far
isn't
more
to
viable.
say that every ship must adhere to a harsh mathematical equation. That isn't realistic. The Vanguard and Connie, for example, have a tremendous amount of forward firepower and rely on the gunners to supplement and assist the pilot in accomplishing their goals. The Hammerhead, on the other hand, trades almost all offensive pilot power in order to rely upon the gunners. Using common sense and rational design, CIG can adapt this philosophy to make the experience far more rewarding for everyone who wants to participate in multi-crew gameplay. This may come as a shock to you, but not everyone wants to be a pilot. Not everyone wants to fly. Being a turret gunner is an absolutely viable and legitimate way to play, and it's about time turret gunners get the respect they deserve.
Yeah, I
for game
agree.
Mechanics and design that acknowledge their existence.
Yep.
The best way to do that is to make them effective and deadly. Which brings us to the next topic. Deterrence isn't fun.
Ooh, okay.
The term deterrence is often thrown around when discussing feedback and design concepts. Some argue that the Hammerhead should deter enemy fighters from getting close and be able to chase them away. However, I'm here to tell you that players do not want to merely deter enemies. They want to destroy them. They want to blow them up. Currently, in the game, the best...
Yeah, but again, like I was mentioning in the earlier, like I envision, or I see the Hammerhead as like, force defensive projection, right? Like it's a moving base, to a small degree. I don't think we're supposed to be hunting down vigorously fighters with this. It's not a pursuit vehicle. It's not a pursuit ship. It's a defensive phalanx,
practical scenario is that you manage to chase off an enemy fighter who is too foolish to hold down strafe in his Gladius, and he zooms off to recharge his shields.
Yeah.
Sure, you deterred him, but why isn't he dead? He's not dead because these turrets simply act as a deterrent through damage, not their actual ability to destroy. Once again, players want destruction. Let me provide another example.
Yeah, but you'll when the conditions are right, the turret's extremely lethal. We just need to increase the frequency of those conditions. Weapon ranges, remove the disabling of the turrets, or significantly buff the turret health so they aren't getting cheese disabled at distance. Bring the distances closer together by nerfing the range of fighters, because there's no value there anyway. And then I think the experience is going to be so chaotic, so frantic, I think BuzzCut would be happy. If I'm Yogi, reduce the weapon ranges to 1500, maybe 1400, 1300, and watch combat when it comes to multi-crew versus fighter interactions become really chaotic, frantic, and fun. Make it a frenzy. But yeah, the pick apart disabled turrets at distance, bad. I agree.
At one point, I was heavily involved with...
Here we go. So how does this pan out?
Side 2, where a certain group of developers designed anti-aircraft weapons to deter enemy aircraft from getting close to the ground battle instead of killing them outright. One AA unit could not single-handedly destroy an aircraft, despite the aircraft also being a single-seat vehicle. This led to two problems. Firstly, Since Deterrence isn't fun, nobody bothered to pull AA, resulting in aircraft farming ground units with impunity. Secondly, an organized outfit demanded that players pull AA, leading to an oversaturation of AA units on the field just to deal with enemy aircraft. Nobody was having fun in either scenario, except perhaps the aircraft farming the units underground and that one guy in AA out of 10 others lucky enough to get a kill. This example perfectly illustrates why people don't want to sit inside turrets in Star Citizen. It isn't effective, and thus, it isn't.
It is effective, it's just like the ranges at which it is effective isn't meta. But oh, the turrets get disabled again. This sucks.
A single light fighter from approaching a
it looks like it's my guys that are disabling his turrets too. That's unfortunate. Well done, guys. Well done.
Have to saturate the area with fire from 7 gunners. That's 7 gunners.
I think I remember them talking about this in voice, actually.
This isn't theoretical. This is reality. Right now, in the game as it currently stands. If turrets are not a certain depth, up to a certain range, nobody will ever want to get in them.
Yep.
And you will have an entire playstyle that isn't viable for the game.
Yep.
Light fighters, once again, reign supreme.
Yeah, I don't like the disabling of the turrets.
Is too effective. During my time in the Connie, any smaller ship unable to, for whatever reason, get behind my guns and kill me would simply ram me. This became so problematic that the moment I pulled a Connie,
I did this. I've been doing this. I'm sorry. I've been doing this.
To ram me.
Because it's like it's. I don't want to have our entire squad convert to Constellation Andromedas to take out the Hammerhead. So often it was just like, okay, I'm banged up, I'm almost red, maybe I could take the Hammerhead with me and restore peace to the squad battle. So I'm guilty of this for sure. Squad, but understand too though, Buzz, right? You're in a squadron battle where the deaths is just part of the game. Each team has a bunch of deaths on the screen right now. So you got to expect more ramming in this specific scenario. This is just a team deathmatch. We're all here to die. In the PU, I don't think people are going to be ramming nearly as much. It's going to still exist, but not as frequently as the squad battle, which is literally designed about spam respawning and getting kills.
Usually resulted in both of us being destroyed.
I feel bad though.
Again, would I want to pull a ship, put a crew in it, and only end up being rammed and killed by one clown and a light fighter? I wouldn't. Every time this happens, the random gunners that spawned in my ship.
But it's important to know too, okay? In my defense, okay, you would have 5 guys would have to ram the Hammerhead to kill it. Anywhere between 3 and 5 guys. So it's not it's easy to trade a gladiators for a Hammerhead. That's impossible. It barely ever happens. It takes a lot of death, a lot of kamikazes to take out the Hammerhead, okay? But I'm definitely guilty of trying to do this.
Coming in and pull the
I'm alright.
Ramming is stupid. It serves no purpose. Why does it have to exist?
No, it should exist. It just should be very carefully balanced. But it should exist. It's some of the cool, Hammerheads ram themselves. I think the entire point of the Hammerhead was it didn't have a reinforced nose. Some of the artwork for the ships and stuff have ships ramming through others. I love the idea of ramming, but we don't want, fighters dive bombing, Hammerheads all the time and stuff just easily and freely. I hope Death of a Spaceman solves this. But I love the idea of 2 capital ships colliding, one capital ship running out of options. Okay, do or die, boys. Here we go. Boom. I love the idea of that. I love 2 Hammerheads banging up against each other. That's awesome. But snubs and light fighters dive bombing Hammerheads and killing them with just trading 1 player for 6, bad gameplay. But I like the bigger ships. Ramming big ships, love that. Rogue One, the movie Star Wars. But yeah, we don't want an arrow deciding to ram a Hammerhead and then it wins. that's not a good idea. But if it took 10 arrows to take out the Hammerhead, 10 players rammed it and finally got it done, alongside the consequences of death of the spaceman, I'd say that's great. That's very cool. As long as the consequences were severe enough for the arrow pilots. But I like the idea of it, but I think it needs to be balanced. I don't like the idea of just deleting it. Like, it shouldn't exist. I think that sucks. But it should be very, very meticulously balanced, in my opinion.
Why can't CIG just make it 0 damage? It adds nothing positive to the game. Realism be damned. Use your sci-fi setting to magic up an explanation and say something
like Battlestar Galactica, when the let me know in the comments, okay? Please tell me you guys watch Battlestar Galactica. Remember when the battle stars rammed the base stars? Oh my lordy. Coolest thing ever. One of my top sci-fi moments.
Like shields collide and push each other away. Anything. I cannot believe that 10 plus years into development, ramming is still a thing, and that some people are so stupid
he's laughing too
that they will actively defend it. Damage. I don't even want little ships to blow up when they ram me, because that'll just incentivize.
Dude, you can tell he's trying not to laugh.
First, that isn't a positive for the game. Remove ramming. Survivorship.
Oh my gosh, that is so good.
I'm not a discussing Redditor. But in this case, I want to discuss a logical error known as survivorship bias. Survivorship bias is a...
Dude, I'm dying over here. Oh man, it's so good. I need to focus. I'm sorry.
Type of sample selection bias that occurs when an individual mistakes a visual...
Yo, the naughty light fighter pilots that keep ramming this man, stop it, guys. For all 20 of you that keep ramming BuzzCut's Hammerhead, you guys need to stop, okay? Listen, okay? Start behaving.
Successful subgroup as the entire group. In other words, survivorship bias occurs when an individual only encounters the surviving observations without considering those data points that didn't survive in the event. I believe this bias heavily influences feedback in Star Citizen, particularly in the PvP and Master Modes department. We often hear from players who tolerate, master, and adapt to flawed systems, but not from those who opt out or quit. We rarely hear why they quit, what they hate, and what they dislike. The people arguing against Master Modes are a perfect example of this bias. They have endured, learned, and mastered the terrible legacy flight model, doing everything in their power to influence and revert the new system to that flawed older one. We're not getting much feedback from the average person who quit the old system and why they did. We're also not getting feedback from people who tried EPTU, found it lacking, and left. Instead, we're hearing from those who enjoy the taste of rotten meat and will try to convince you why eating rotten meat is good. That's what the legacy system was. Rotten meat. And those who support the changes and poor game...
See, like, he just zapped one of my guys. Like, he just smoked a tournament player that got sent to CitizenCon. You know, literally flown out to CitizenCon, he just zapped him. So the Hammerhead's useful at a certain range. We just gotta make that range a more common occurrence. And I don't think it is to... I'm sorry, I know BuzzCut doesn't like this, but the Hammerhead, I think, is supposed to be a deterrence. A lethal deterrence. But I think if you want a offensive turret experience, you need to hop in a pursuit vehicle or a pursuit ship like a Hurricane or a Scorpius. I think that's more the experience that you're describing. I mean, look at it this way, Buzz. If in light fighters, we're supposed to be sorted into these roles like an interceptor class, a light fighter maneuverability based class, a heavy fighter class, a medium fighter with a heavy weapon loadout class. If these classes are supposed to have specialization, all the turrets aren't just an offensive, chase down and play turrets. Those are, I think, what you're referring to, Buzz, is I think you should be in like a pursuit turret experience, like a Hurricane or a Scorpius and future ships to come. But I don't think that this, pursuit people with turret experience should exist in a Hammerhead or a Andromeda. No, I think these are big, heavy boys. They are more of a fortification playstyle. So, yeah, I think you'd be very happy in a Hurricane, brother, or a Scorpius.
Play in 3.22.1 are trying to convince you why
Or a
you
Hornet.
should enjoy
Or
Rotten
Hornet.
Meat 2. CIG isn't receiving the right feedback from the right audience. And why would they? Many have opted out a long time ago when they smelled the rotten meat because they're not foolish enough to stick around and consume it. Moreover, whenever somebody discusses how unfun, bad, or inaccessible the old flight model was, they were immediately shut down by some individuals telling them to get good or just practice, lol, and publicly dismissing their claims. Why would they
Dude, Buzzcut's a funny guy, man. He's fucking
tolerate that and put up with it?
Oh
So
no, we're at an hour
They
again.
don't provide feedback, they don't test, they just check out. Well, I'm not going to check out. I'm telling you right now that master modes are life or death for the product. And if this game cannot appeal to the average player, not below or above, but the average, it will struggle. If it cannot appeal to groups who want to work as a team, or players who want to do anything other than fly a light fighter, it will struggle. The feedback on master modes is heavily skewed towards those who enjoy the taste of garbage. I don't need to know the nuances of eating garbage to understand that it isn't good for me. That's why even things I strongly dislike, such as aim assist, I give a pass. It's better for the product. Better for accessibility and controller input parity. I have no ego
this
attached
react
to
is
myself.
turning into a sauce.
I want Star Citizen to be the best MMO game ever made. And
I don't want to eat garbage.
I will fight against anything that I feel will prevent that from happening, including the heavily biased feedback from certain groups of players who enjoy certain styles of play. If a significant portion of your player base is trying something, deciding it isn't fun, and not coming back to play, you have a problem. A far bigger problem than what the
I mean,
dedicated
yo,
mind-
bro, you just smoked that guy. Like, it's very contrasting, right? Like, it's either you are smoking guys up close or you're doing nothing. And the sucky thing about it too is that your turrets are getting disabled. But it's safe to say the experience with the Hammerhead is extremely effective up close. But it's a very big issue at range.
majority of the player
But,
base
like,
enjoys.
I don't want to ignore
They are
these
not
kills
the
where you're
audience
just
you have
zapping
to
dudes.
appeal to. You have to appeal to the ones who aren't playing past, present, and future. Conclusion. 3.22.1 is a massive step back and is reintroducing many of the old problems we've experienced with the legacy flight model.
Oh, man.
I don't feel compelled to play it at all, and I certainly don't enjoy it. I only did so out of obligation to the product and a desire to provide valuable feedback. Multicrew ships
And we
still
appreciate
suck,
you for it.
light fighters reign supreme, and the obnoxious gaming mechanics such as pip wheel are alive and well. While I'm sure some of these issues are slated to be addressed by CIG
Yeah, I
soon,
think they are.
I still feel it's important for me to give you, the viewer, whether you like me or not, the straight dope. Finally, I like to clarify that I do not think CIG listens to one particular group more than another. There are two very distinct camps in Star Citizen feedback, but I truly believe that the reality is that most players, the overwhelming majority, do not provide feedback or even really know what is going on. In the end, those players, Joe Casual, as I call them, are the most important customers and must be catered to for the product to be a success, since that will comprise the bulk of new players and the future revenue of the game. If that means stepping on the sensitive toes of the sweaties and the Care Bears, then
I mean, he just like they just smoked the ship, and like the Hammerhead's in pristine condition, right? So like important to read into that, right? Like this Hammerhead is performing up close very well, arguably too well, but at distance it just falls behind, and it suffers to the turrets getting disabled for sure.
so be it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm eager to read the get goods from the expert excrement excavators out there in the Star Citizen.
Oh my god, I think that is like the funniest video. Oh my lord, that was pure comedic gold. Oh my Lanta. Yo, we're at 1 hour and 4 minutes. I am like, dude, I'm laughing. That was happiness. I really enjoyed that. Oh man, that was so good. I was hysterical. Oh man, so good. So good. That was so great. I'm so glad I watched this video. Dude, just thinking about it. What a disaster this reactor's turned into. Oh my lord. Dude, I can't even be serious right now. I don't like eating trash. Yo, okay. I need to get my shit together. Look, the turret's getting disabled. That sucks. Fix that immediately. Don't like that at all. I don't think anyone does. I don't even think the guys shooting at turrets enjoy that. So, yeah, buff the health tenfold of the turrets, or just make them immune. One of the two. Number two, the Connies taking splash damage to their components. That sucks, Buzz. And for anyone flying the Constellations, it sucks, dudes. You guys deserve a break. Absolutely. Fix that as soon as possible. Buff the HP of the components or armor or something. Reduce the cone effect, maybe, of the splash damage of these missiles. But yeah, we don't want to see that. Those are bugs. Not intended, but that definitely sucks too. I think reduce the weapon ranges so that you can't just cheese the Hammerhead so easily at distance. But then at the same time, the Hammerhead is so lethal up close, so maybe there's a balance in between there. And we want the weapon ranges to come down for other reasons too, in my opinion. So, yeah, it sucks. Multicrew, it needs a lot of work, apparently. And I agree. I agree with a lot of these points, I do. The game belongs to more than just the sweaties, but my only request, Buzz, would be open yourself up to buffing what is lacking from the game and not just nerfing things. But there is a wiggle issue, and there is some gimmicky flight stuff that needs to be patched out, and it will be. I'm hopeful. I think you guys deserve your gameplay loop to finally reach its potential. And I want to see all these professions, these roles, these classes reach their potential. Let's bring everything up and not push things down. What an incredible video. Oh, man. Okay, so if you're still with me, it's a 3, 2, 1 in the comment section, okay? Type the numbers 3, 2, 1, and then I'll know you guys are real for this. And again, guys, I can't wait to read the comments. Hopefully I haven't made too much of a mess of this because I am hysterical. I think I'm gonna watch this again off stream. But man, what a funny video. Dude, I'm doing it again. Yo, GG's. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Yeah, GG's.